I see you've got your hat at a jaunty forward angle.
Do
and
I?
I got my pom-pom in the back somewhere, don't I?
Yeah.
Hey, style me. How should it be?
It looked great the way that it was.
Pom-pom front or pom-pom back?
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. 'Tis the season.
It is. This is a podcast on episode 60, coming from River City Yarns in Edmonton, Alberta with
Barb and Cynthia. Welcome, everybody. We're here today to just kind of give you an overview of the year and to wrap things up and to say Merry Christmas to you.
Wrap things up. Here, cheers, Barb.
Cheers. What a day.
I'll tell you.
We had a busy day.
This getting ready for Christmas thing.
I know.
It's
Did you get everything done that you wanted to make?
Oh no, there'll be Julian Christmas gifts in my family.
Yeah, just wrap it up with the needles and everything and give it, right?
Yeah, here you go. Here you go, sweetheart.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with giving somebody the gift of good intentions.
No.
Right?
No, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And then, you get to, it's an easy project to finish because you're almost done.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of accomplishing that way.
I did that one year. I did that. I got 4 skeins of really nice sock yarn, and I gave all my kids a skein of sock yarn with the promise that they'd have socks by their birthdays.
Oh, lovely.
And so, the farthest out birthday was June, so I had 6 months to make all those socks happen, and that's what I did. It is hard, isn't it, to do all the things that you want to do before it's time to do them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there's gift cards.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just went and got gift cards and called it a day.
Yeah.
I think it's too tough to put all that pressure on yourself. I can't do that.
It's about sitting back and visiting and having fun and remembering the year. Not everybody celebrates Christmas.
Right.
And not everybody celebrates Christmas in the same way.
That's right.
But we all share in coming to the end of a year.
That's right. And I really enjoy knitting for pleasure, for my pleasure, right? And so it's not so much about making things for others. It's kind of doing kind of what I would like to do, what I'd like to make.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do have some things that I have made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have to talk a little bit about, Christmas and the year, because we're getting to the end of the year, right?
We are. I mean, well, it's like a week away. We'll be celebrating, New Year's Eve in a week.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we'll have to talk about all the new things we've got planned for 2022. Yeah. But we should do a review, sort of a look back on 2021. What a year that was.
When we were hanging our Christmas decorations on a Christmas tree, I came across an ornament from Brick Bubble.
Yeah.
And it was a little wooden cutout, and it said 2020, the year we stayed home. And it had a little roll of toilet paper on it.
Yeah. That's right, because remember, everyone was hoarding toilet paper.
And we didn't have our vaccinations then.
No.
So, it's a different year. We're still facing some challenges, but I think we have more opportunities, I believe, to get together with the people that we love, and we're able to do it in a safer way than we were last year.
Yes.
So,
thanks to COVID shots and
Yeah.
vaccinations. Yeah.
Well, and we've had 2 years now of getting used to being a little more vigilant about our health and our. Gone are the days when I would go to work with a sniffle because it's just a cold, I'm going to power through it. Like, those days are gone now, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? So I think we've learned some better rules for.
Well, and when you think about it, it's been 18 months since we closed the store, and knock on wood, I have not had a cold. Last week I had a little bit of a sore throat, and a little bit of a sniffle, but that's amazing. I don't think I've ever gone for 2 years without having a cold.
Well, also, you know, it's not just vaccines, like COVID vaccines, but we've been in to get our flu shots and the other things that, you know, we maybe might have dismissed before. Now we're doing those kinds of things. So yeah, I think our attitudes are a lot better about staying healthy and trying to protect the people around us. That's and that's a very thoughtful thing to do, right?
And you know, I just don't even go out to eat really anymore. We make everything at home. It's different.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have different attitudes about going to restaurants and going to shopping centers and things like that.
The good news is it could never be a better time to be a maker.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because we all have that time now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the year that was.
Well, so one of the things that we did this year that was really, really fun was the whole Spy 21 thing. Right?
You liked that, did you? I had to twist your arm.
You did? You did?
What? 12 pairs of socks? No way.
Well, because every time Barb suggests something, I just get this feeling that I'm going to have work to do.
Of course. It was fun, though.
It was fun.
We split the job.
We did.
In half, and you knit 6 and I knit 6, and we got through it.
Yeah. Or I knit 8 and you knit 4. No. I'm kidding.
Oh, who's counting, right?
Right, but it was a great idea. It was a lot of fun, and it opened up, you know, some really fun techniques. I had a lot of fun with the colorwork socks. Yeah.
There were lots of really beautiful socks. I have to say, this book, the Knitmore girls, pulled this book together, and they did a really great job. Every one of the socks that we made had something special about them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think, you know, we started the year off with this one, and I think this one was one of the favorites, the ice cream socks.
Now, we have had some people call in asking about Spy 21 who've just discovered it.
Yes.
And they're, you know, I think some people think, oh, I can't do this now because it was for 2021, and that's not true.
No.
I mean, you can still do it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You just need the book. And I think, didn't the girls, the Knitmore girls, say that the patterns would eventually be on Ravelry as single patterns?
Oh, I don't recall that. Yeah. But the book itself is very accessible. You can get it. Yeah.
It's a beautiful book.
Yeah.
I think everybody should have it if you like knitting socks, because there's so many really cool techniques in it.
Well, didn't we just hear a designer say not that long ago that, you know, that she produced a book because she liked the idea of, you know, knitting from a book? Like that's what we used to do. We used to buy a book and then knit everything in the book, or quite a few of the things from the book. And so I feel kind of proud that we've done that with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go through some of the socks that we've made.
Let's start with those ice cream socks. Because, and again, these were very special because we had kits made up for the ice cream socks by the dyer and the designer.
Well, and that was the most special thing. The designer is Caitlin Thompson, and she actually lives here in Alberta, and she has a company called Over the Moon.
Yeah.
And she dyes yarn. And so she made us these beautiful kits.
There's another set in there.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're designed to look like waffle cones. This is a really cool little stitch, and then this was the ice cream that was, you know, dripping down.
Yeah, and I put my cherry on the bottom instead of my cherry on the top.
Yep.
Yeah. And it looks like you got chocolate mint in yours.
I think so. Chocolate chip. Mint.
Now, are you gonna Marie Kondo fold all these for us as we go through them?
Later. I just noticed I still have to duplicate stitch that one sock.
Yours don't have any drips on this side. That's because you're such a good ice cream eater.
Yeah.
You don't let
I was
it drip.
taking a shortcut is what it was. And once I was done, I was done.
No,
Only I would notice that, though.
This sock yarn that Caitlin uses is so soft.
It is really, really nice.
So this kit comes with a full skein for the foot And then 3 mini skeins for the ice cream flavors. And there are still some available if anybody wants those special kits.
Yeah.
Do you want me to put them here?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, what was next? What came next?
Oh, I don't remember. Tell
Not
me
sure
what
the
your
order, but
favorite
here,
sock was.
I'll just pull a pair out.
Yeah.
And then you can
Oh,
chat about them. How about these ones?
Yeah, I love these ones. I'm going to take them off the sock blockers.
These ones were called Love Needs a Heart, or?
Better Half.
Oh, Better Half.
These ones are called Better Half because when you put them on your feet, you get a little heart.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah. So these ones were done as an intarsha in the round technique. And, you know, I had to figure that out. That was tricky at first. And then I had all the good intentions of making you a pair of mittens.
That's right. I just thought they would have made great mittens.
I think they would make fabulous mittens.
That was a wonderful pattern. And the yarn was our hat trick. No, well, part was hat trick, part was Socknado, but the same base, Carolyn Sommerfeld's Italian merino sock yarn.
Yeah. We used, I think it was Tulip for the toes and River Rock for the main color. But we put some kits together using our Hat Trick semi-solid, which you're absolutely right, it goes on the same base.
And then talking about Hat Trick, this was another one. This was a fun sock. I did this one.
What's this one called, Barb?
Meandros. And so this was mosaic knitting, and it was a ton of fun. I used Hat Trick hockey yarn with this one too, the semi-solids.
Yeah, Iron Burner and what?
I forget. Just a beautiful gold.
Playmaker?
I think so.
Maybe?
I think so.
We have documented all these socks on our Ravelry pages, so we'll make sure that you know what our Ravelry names are if you want to look up any of the socks.
And they're on our website too, because we're still selling kits for some of them.
Yes.
So that was a lot of fun.
This one was Meandros. Did we say that already?
Yeah, I'll see if I can find it in the page 38.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It opened right to it. Yeah.
Lovely. And the pattern for the bottom of the foot too is so really nice and squishy.
Yes.
Okay, tell us about these ones.
These were the
I never got to make these ones.
This was the second pair that we did, I think. This one's called Stained Glass. And we used Richard DeVries Pepino with this one. And I made these socks before we put our kits together. And that's when we realized we needed to have stronger contrasting colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one I think was probably one of the most popular socks. There were a lot of people doing stained glass, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's nice about this one is that it's short.
Yes. Yes, it's like half a sock.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it is a stranded colorwork piece, but you do strand all the way across the bottom. So it gives you kind of like a slipper sock feeling. So a little more durability perhaps on the bottom of the socks.
Those wouldn't wear out quite as fast, would they?
I don't think so. Well, I guess it depends on where you wear out your socks. So if it's in the bottom of the heel, then maybe you'd still get a hole there. But if it's in the ball of your foot, you probably cover it off. Yeah.
Yeah, those and the combos on those were so pretty. The color combos.
Oh yeah, we saw some of our customers do some really nice socks.
And Richard had just some beautiful colors. That was the Pepino yarn. Do you have a second set of those in here?
No, I don't think so. No.
Oh, these ones were fun too. This was Meta.
Meta, yeah. So Meta was originally designed to use up mini skeins.
Right.
And you would change colors every time you did a repeat, and we cheated by using a self-striping yarn. And
that was a great cheat.
I think so, yeah. And what I really love about these socks is that you get some garter stitch patterning here. You get this kind of bubble stitch on the front of the sock, and you get stockinette on the bottom. So you get to see how your striping yarn looks in 3 different patterns. And then you pair it up with a solid yarn, and you know, Bob's your uncle. I really enjoyed knitting these ones. I would do this. I would definitely do this pattern
That one again.
Yeah. And again, you know, if you had lots of little bits of yarn that you wanted to use up, this would be a nice pattern for that.
Well, we were just kind of shuddering when we thought about weaving in a million ends on the inside. So with the self-striper, that was just a no-brainer.
Yeah, I have to tell you, in one of Olga Berea Kefelian's classes that we had this year, she showed us a way to weave in your ends as you go. That is brilliant. So maybe, you know, maybe it's doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone who wants to make this should take Olga's class.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can put them over there.
I'll put those ones there.
Okay, this was another kind of requested sock. I think one of the... I'm caught here.
Okay, so now it's become one of those puzzles. You know, those little puzzles that you get in your Christmas stocking?
Yeah. This sock was one of the favorites of the daughter of one of the Moore girls. Do you remember when we interviewed them?
Right.
I forget her name. But that little girl said she would knit, this would be the pair that she would knit if she could choose which one she wanted. And this is, I think, sock within a sock.
I thought it was Fun House. That's why I asked you if it was fun. But no, you're right. I think it's something to do with socks, isn't it? Because there are little socks on the sock.
Yeah. I can't remember anyways what it's called.
And you used a self-striping yarn with this one as well, yes?
Yes. So this one was 2 commercial yarns, actually. This was, I think, Regia color, rainbow color. And so as it came off the ball, it changed colors. And checking semi-solid for the light blue. Just a fun knit. The little socks were so much fun to make. A Drawer Full by Becky Green.
So would you do these again?
I would. I'd definitely do them again. They were a lot of fun. And I think having that little sock pattern on the sock was a real motivator.
Yeah.
You know, because you always wanted to see what it ended up looking like.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. And that rainbow colored yarn is really pretty. And so then this one is Fun House. And again, we did the same thing. We used a self-striping rainbow type yarn. And we did it with a black. And this one's really cool because the front of the sock and the bottom of the sock have the same pattern, but the colors are reversed. So if you keep your eye on this little dot right in the center of the triangle, when I flip it over, that's when you'll see that the colors are reversed. I just thought that was really clever.
This has got to be one of the most eye-catching socks because of the, you know, contrast in the colors.
Oh, and then it had this really cool gusset right on the bottom of the foot. So instead of having a sock gusset on the sides of the foot, it's on the bottom. So when you put your feet up, isn't that pretty?
I know.
It's like a little picture on the bottom of your sock. And you know, you might think that this is hard to knit because look at all that patterning that's in there. But I just love charted knitting because it's just, you know,
just
3
row
1
after
3
row.
1 3 1 2 1 2 1 3 2 1 2.
Do you remember what that one was called?
This one's Fun House.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it?
32.
I think so. Because it's
Fun House, yes.
Because it's the opposite. And then again, we used a self-stripping yarn like they had in the pattern, but we made sure that the color that was in our self-stripping yarn was not in the solid yarn. So there was no blending in. Yeah.
Yeah, we went for maximum contrast with that one.
Yeah. And that was a fun knit. Oh, yes.
Now these ones, I think were Gentle Drizzle.
Yes. And a test knit.
And a test knit. So Gentle Drizzle by Emily Kintig was a fun knit because we used a yarn from a Canadian dyer. This one was Trailhead Yarns.
Yes.
With their Appalachian Trail. And this is a cotton nylon blend. 60% cotton, I think 40 nylon.
Yeah.
And it sure showed the stitch definition well.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a beauty.
It's a beautiful yarn to knit with too, because I used what was left from your socks to try one of the ones that I was going to do. So I've just got my little swatch here. And this one was, that's Gentle Drizzle.
This is Gentle Drizzle. And yours, was that Sidal?
Maybe. I think so. Or
that one, 74. Let's see if it was this one.
I've got a full sock in the basket. Yes, Sidal.
Yeah. So this one was just sort of little cables, right?
If you hand me the lavender one in the basket. There we go. That's the full sock there. Yeah, it's cables and lace. More like twisted stitches rather than cables.
Yeah.
And then some lace detail. But there's only one sock here.
That's okay.
So some socks, you know.
You have a sock and a half.
Yes.
Were there baubles on there too?
No.
Oh, it looks like there's a bauble on the gold one.
Yeah. Sometimes you just say, you know what, this wasn't my favorite sock.
Yeah. That's like this one for me.
That had a lot of cables in it.
Oh my God. This one was, that had little hearts on it.
Yeah, this one's Love Needs a Heart.
Yeah, I don't think I'd knit that one again.
No, just a little too much work.
A little too much work, yeah. It was quite an intensive sock.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks beautiful, but it was a challenge. And I think it was, you know, in just a really busy time of year too, where we had so much going on.
Yeah.
I love the cuff on it. I think that cuff is really
it's a twisted rib with, looks like garter stitch in between.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
really nice.
This was the last.
Well, the second last. There's one that you're right. That is the last pair, but there's another pair behind you.
Oh.
On the rack.
Okay.
Just this over this side.
I missed it.
Right here.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
These ones, the ski socks.
Yeah, these were fun to knit.
Oh man.
So this is called après, and this is done in a worsted weight yarn. So these were fast to knit. It has a nice little eye of partridge portion across the middle of the foot to bring everything in. An afterthought heel and brioche. So I love these socks because they fit. You know, it's so hard to get knee highs that fit me.
I just think that's brilliant. To use brioche, a super stretchy stitch that stretches sideways.
Yeah, yeah.
In a sock. What a great idea.
Yep. So I would definitely do these ones again. And I might actually do them from the cuff down, because you can. Yeah, once you've figured out the pattern, then you could put in like a heel flap if you wanted to.
I like a heel flap. What do you think?
The good news, well, so good news about these ones is that because they're in worsted weight, they weren't so tight across the instep. And I think I put in 3 extra rows of plain knitting here, which is a trick I learned from Holly Yo in Holly's Tiptoe Up sock class that we ran 2 of this year.
Well, I think Anne talks about that too, and so does Kate. They've all kind of figured out how to manipulate the heel to fit your own foot, which is really nice. There were a few that we didn't do that would be nice to go back and try.
Yeah. Well, now show us your last pair. Yeah.
So this one is
Tolstoy's Triumphant Thermals.
Right. Or a take of it.
Was supposed to be.
Yeah. So the original pattern had you double knit the socks. So you'd have all the stitches on your needles for 2 pairs, and one was knit inside the other. So the story, this came out of the book War and Peace. And there was a story about a governess who entertained and enchanted children by knitting socks and then pulling one out of the other.
Like magic.
And so this was the idea with these socks, that you would knit them 2 at a time. And not for me. No, I did mine separately, but I did the same pattern for the leg it was a twisted kind of rib.
Okay.
And did my own heel.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of fun. I love the yarn.
Mm-hmm.
This one was done with the Detroit colorway from the Hat Trick yarn series.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I think there's a couple of pairs of socks done in this yarn, and it's just a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, so what do you think? Should we take these socks home and start wearing them?
Yeah, I think so.
It's been a year of knitting. Yeah.
Merry Christmas to us.
Oh man, that was great.
Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So again, if you were going to make another pair of socks and you only could pick one from here, would you pick a new one from the book, or would you repeat one?
I don't know. I think I'd repeat one because I love the idea of knitting a pattern the second time. You know, the first time around, I just kind of get familiar with it and figure out how it works. But I would definitely knit the little sock one again. I'd knit Meandros again.
Yeah. And I'm definitely going to do the better half ones as mittens. I've got it all planned out in my head, how you would do top-down mittens and just follow the sock pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also think there's nothing wrong with just doing a vanilla sock.
There's nothing wrong with doing a vanilla sock.
Like our Hat Trick hockey sock, that our free pattern that's on our website.
Yeah.
I love that sock pattern.
Oh, good.
I think it's perfect car knitting, you know, or late night TV knitting.
Yeah,
or
a little 3x1 rib.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And the book, I think, you know, I love the book.
Yeah, yeah.
I even got mine laminated.
And coil bound, yeah.
Coil bound, and that was so handy.
Well, so this was a great project for 2021. Do you have thoughts on 2022 you'd like to share?
Well, I
Barb's
think
our idea person.
Yeah. Well, I think 2022 is all about, you know, using up stash.
Oh.
We talked about that, and I think it has to do with recycling, reusing, repurposing, and just more slow knitting.
Yeah. Well, we had kind of talked about going through our extensive RCY patterns and re-knitting some of those with yarns that we love, right? Yeah. So that might be kind of fun.
I think that's definitely going to be on the plate. And then Erica Knight, too, she was a bit of an inspiration because she does a lot of recycling, repurposing. I like the idea, too, of us using our bits and bobs to do swatches for the next project and things like that. So I think that would be a fun way to spend part of the year, too, on recycling or repurposing or finding projects that you could use for any of your stash yarns.
Oh, interesting. Like at different gauges?
That, yeah. Or, you know, the whole mending idea is another thing. You know, you have a great video on how to mend holes in socks with patches or with duplicate stitch. I think that lends itself nicely. The whole idea about felting too, you know, like taking wool and shrinking it and making it more durable. So I think there's all kinds of topics that we could get into around the recycling, repurposing theme.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, what about you? You've been thinking about this too.
Yeah, well, you know, put me on the spot. I have no idea. Man. But I do like the idea, I think, of revisiting some of the patterns that we've created. We did, at one point, we did a whole cabin collection, you know, of patterning and yarns. And so I wouldn't mind revisiting those and putting them into different projects. I kind of did that with a Christmas stocking. So we have, River City Yarns has an epic Christmas stocking. And this is it, with a German short row heel and round toe and some Latvian braid at the top. But I took the patterning from Rosalind, which is one of our
I recognize
sweater patterns. Yeah. and put that into here. So I thought that was kind of fun. So it might be kind of nice to take some of those patterns and, you know, create a scarf or we already have a hat. We have a hat and mitts and a sweater for this project, but maybe now there's a Christmas stocking and a scarf or something like that.
That's a great idea.
I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we talked too about Anne Budd's chocolate mousse hat and how it's got a beautiful star on it.
Yes.
And when I saw it, I thought of this book of Arnie and Carlos because, you know, every year we spend a lot of time focusing on Christmas projects too, right? We usually start in July with Christmas in July and making, you know, like Christmas ornaments like these.
Yeah, so this is Christmas, one of the Anna and Carlos Christmas balls done with Epic. So a thicker yarn than they called for in their original patterning, but a thicker yarn like they've moved to this year with their Christmas balls and with their
Norwegian wool.
Their sweaters. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got one done out of the alpaca. Is it alpaca soft DK?
Yeah. This was from 2 years ago when they were here.
Right.
They came to Edmonton and taught at our, was it at the Knit for Fun retreat?
No, well,
event.
It was an Anna and Carlos workshop event, yes. But we did hold it at the conference center. Yeah. In fact, I think that was the last one. We had Anna and Carlos in November, and then we had Stephanie Pearl McPhee right after that.
Right.
And that was the last thing we did.
Before COVID.
Big public event we did before COVID, because our Knit for Fun retreat with Anne had to be canceled.
Right.
Due to COVID and travel restrictions.
Yeah, so this was a lot of fun. This was their squirrel pattern done in alpaca soft DK.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, and then I look at this one too. I found this in my office. This is just like a pom-pom.
Yeah. I've got one on here too. This is same idea. The pom-pom made with your leftovers. So this is kind of gets at what you were talking about as recycling, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think every month we should have like a recycling project or something fun to do. A stash buster where you can take little odds and ends and make something small. I mean, even the Christmas trees, like these are probably one of our most popular patterns at Christmas time.
Yeah.
But taking like little odds and ends and leftovers and making something fun with them.
Absolutely. Well, in fact, I think you had something in your lap earlier that was kind of using up leftovers. Your big epic blanket project.
Oh, that one's not actually leftovers, Cynthia. This is all kind of brand new yarns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This one here?
Yeah.
I love doing these blankets. And this one's almost done. Look how big it is already.
Yeah. So you'll finish this on Christmas Day after you're enjoying your chocolates and your...
I'm not putting any pressure on. I pick it up at night.
Yeah.
And I'm able to do it if I'm really tired.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like garter stitch to me.
Yeah.
And
so we have a request from one of our followers for you to share your wisdom about putting yarns together from your stash to create a blanket like this, because I think you've got different gauges of yarn in here. You may be doubling some up and holding some single-stranded, and
for sure.
I'd
love to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm working with two right now. This is a fine alpaca merino from Fleece Artist Handmaiden. And I think you just double it up so that it will work on like a 6.5 mil needle. This is my favorite needle size to work these Afghans with.
I think that might be a 10.5 for those of you who are used to American sizing on needles. Yeah, that's lovely, Barb.
And the secret to these blankets are color. Like I like now keeping them sort of tone on tone or in the same color family, but putting in something really, really soft and something with texture. And so this one here is Noro, and I love the Noro yarn. This is a
Yeah.
boucle.
Yeah, so yeah, we'll look at doing maybe, I don't know if it'll be a class or just like a tutorial, or maybe it's just like a Zoom session where people ask you questions. We do get that quite a bit, right?
Really?
People will call us up and say, you know, I got this pattern.
Here's a really neat thing to look at.
Okay.
So here's the one with the texture.
Yeah.
This was a couple balls of cashmere, and you're right, this one was a leftover. We can't even get that anymore. That was Cashmere Queen.
Oh.
Do you remember that? From
Cashmere Queen.
Yeah.
Now we're living the same dream as Barb knits her Afghan. Okay. Yeah. No. I don't think I think I do remember this, but it was quite a long time ago.
I want to say Zetron or
wasn't Diamond?
No.
No. Okay.
This was part of or Schockenmeyer.
We do this a lot too. People will come up to the door with, like, you know, a snippet of yarn like this and say, do you have any more of this?
Yeah. And it's funny how many times I can actually recognize it.
It's true.
And there's Epic in here.
Okay.
So this is kind of where I start, is going through. I have those IKEA shelves at home. And so if I have 2 balls of this and 2 balls of that, I just pop it in there by color. And so when I want to do an Afghan, I go in there and it's set. It's already, I did my little gauge swatch.
Oh, look at that.
And then this is another lovely one. This is, I have a couple balls of Prosecco from Fleece
I thought
Artist.
that was an Italian wine.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
This is really a beautiful yarn too.
So when you told me you were into your Prosecco, you didn't mean you were getting drunk. You meant you were...
I was knitting. Yeah.
So, I mean, the questions people are going to ask, Barbara, how do you know how much you need for a project like this?
Yeah, well, you could weigh it.
Okay.
And I think I have it written down somewhere. I can go back and check it out.
But your gauge swatch helps you to know how many stitches to cast on.
Yeah.
And it helps you to know whether or not your needle's big enough.
Exactly.
Because that's kind of what you have to do, right? Is pick a needle that's big enough to accommodate the thickest yarn that you've got.
Yeah.
And then you can double or triple strand other yarns if you need to make up the thickness. And you do love your mohairs, don't you?
I just love to pop it in, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just think it adds such a beautiful halo and softness. There's just one more.
Oh.
There we go. So I'm just going to use it all up, right?
Yeah.
And
that's beautiful.
And that's how you do, how it's done.
That's how it's done. You pick a pattern that you like.
I have a blue one on the go too.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Did you do anything from the Advent box, Barb?
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, yeah. I'm still working on that. Right? You too?
Yeah, I've got a few things here. I brought in a few things. So these are
Wasn't that fun?
Wee Tam. Yeah.
I haven't quite started that one yet.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and you've got
make them for next year.
it.
I cut out the lids of like yogurt containers and things like that.
Great idea.
I just cut them out.
There's another recycling idea.
Yeah, well,
right?
Because when you make a tam, you need a plate. So normally when you make a tam, even if it's a wee tam, you put a plate in there. And then on here, I cut out a piece of cardboard. And look what I put on there.
Oh, see, to you from me.
Yeah.
Great gift tags.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning too the idea about putting them on a garland. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
They were all connected.
So I think because you haven't got any done yet, you should take these home and hang them up as a little garland.
Oh, let's put them on the tree.
Yeah.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah. Do you have a fireplace at home?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With
I'm gonna
Christmas
make this,
stockings.
So Anne told me she could do one in 45 minutes on her treadmill.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I can do one it takes me probably more like 180 minutes.
Yeah.
But the more you make, the faster you get.
Sure.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
And then show us your table runner, because that's so beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Well, what we should do probably is take a really quick break and clean off the table, and then then we can unbury the table runner. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the plaid runner, because that was a fun project.
This is a lot of fun. Oh, and don't look at my ends that are still tucked in there. But yeah, this is the Breaking Plaid pattern by Carissa Browning. She contributed to our Advent box this year. And so she made it into a table runner pattern for us. And so this uses 2 balls of Epic in Christmas colors. And man, I really enjoyed that. I think you might have given me the challenge earlier on of making it long enough that you could wear it like a scarf.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen, right?
No, it's perfect. Oh. You can definitely wear it as a scarf. Yeah. So
double duty.
Yeah, yeah. So you can, have it as a table center for your Christmas spread. And then, wear it home.
One of the other projects that I haven't gotten to yet, though, that I'm really interested in is the tree.
Yes, the plaid tree.
Yeah.
And the weaving. Have you tried out the weaving loom yet?
I have not.
Oh, man, yeah.
So there's still a few projects that we get to play with over the holidays.
Yes.
That'll be fun.
Yes, and it's going to be so nice to have some time off, isn't it?
Yes, that's going to be great. Have you opened up all of your other presents?
And we're going to open everything tonight. Yeah, because that's when we do all of our, Christmas present opening on Christmas Eve. Very traditional, right? Well, very German.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. How about you?
Oh, same thing.
Christmas Eve? It's kind of a debate sometimes, Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Know. If I can hold out, I like to do it Christmas morning too, but that doesn't happen very often.
No. Yeah, why do you like to hold out? You like to
Well, because then,
delayed gratification?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, interesting. And then we were gifted some new mugs today.
Yes, look at these. Aren't these beautiful?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll see these come back in a future podcast.
Yeah.
These are lovely.
And you have to watch for Barb drinking out of my mug because she likes to do that. So
yeah, not if I realize it. These are lovely because they'll keep things hot, and cold things cold.
Yeah. I know, it's really nice.
These are kind of our colors, aren't they?
They are. They're River City Yarns colors. For sure.
This. So pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to fill that with something special for next week.
Oh, champagne for the next for the next episode, because it'll be our first episode of 2022.
The new year. Okay.
Yeah, so definitely Prosecco, not the yarn.
The real stuff. Show us what you're working on too.
So this is our flash mob this month, and I am so in love with this yarn.
It's from Richard DeVries.
So there may be a few skeins left if you want to, snap them up. But yeah, we're selling this in the set of 3. What did I do? Oh, I moved my bag, but you have the full skeins there.
Yeah, I do, right here.
So because Barb and I
with this one.
hardly ever get to participate in flash mob. So yes, starts with kind of like a solid blue, and then went to a speckle.
Yeah.
And then to kind of like a variegated yarn.
So Richard dyed these for us with the intent that they'd be used together in a pairing. And they're so pretty. He really does do blues well, doesn't he?
Yeah. So I wanted to try a fade. And so I've created a little hat pattern for everybody where you can just fade your yarns into, or you can use all one color in the hat. That's no problem. And I was thinking this would make a really fun pair of baby yoga pants too.
Oh, wouldn't it?
You know, with a fade all the way down, because this yarn is so soft and squishy.
Yeah.
Barb.
It's a worsted weight, 100% merino, 80 grams per skein with 160 meters. Yeah. So it's got great yardage.
Yeah.
And it's super washed.
Yeah, so you can create a few hats, or you could do hats and mitts, or a hat and a cowl.
A cowl would be really nice
too. You could do
too.
Socks. You could do, I mean, what couldn't you do?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I was thinking about putting a Latvian braid in here, and then I thought, no, the colors, I just want the colors to blend smoothly. And I think a Latvian braid is better when you have...
And fade out.
Yeah.
So the crown's all one color, and then you've taken in...
Yeah, so the crown's all one color, and when you can see my markers here, then I'm splitting these two colors. They're one row stripes.
Oh, one row.
Yep, and then because it's in the round, so might as well do a one row stripe. And then this is all the second color.
So that's all this one.
And then this is the second color and the third color in one row stripes. And I'm going to finish it off in the third color.
Just with the third color. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love hats. They're practical. But yeah.
And this was such a fun year too with flash mobs, wasn't it? The theme was perfect. It was all about human and nature.
Yeah.
And we had some incredible colorways come through this year.
Again, like these are one of a kind yarns. They have symbolism. They have meaning. They have connections that we make with things, but they're all just really gorgeous yarns. And if you're lucky and you type in flash mob on the online store, you might still find a couple of skeins that haven't been completely sold out. So yeah.
They generally go really fast though, so get onto our newsletter, our notification list, because we do a pre-notification when flash mob is ready to go.
And we've got a whole set of brand new plans for 2022, which we won't tell you about just yet. But tune in on January 7th when we have podcast episode 61, and we'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
Well, Barb, I think it might be time for some eggnog and some rum, or as my daughter's boyfriend likes to call it, rumnog.
That's a good one. Yeah, sure. Let's go fill up our new mugs.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds good. We certainly hope that you all have a fantastic end of the year celebration, however you celebrate it. And we're looking forward to seeing you again in the new year. So
take care, stay safe, stay warm, and stay making.
Yeah. Yeah. Happy holidays.